Hey, my name is Rob Lafond, and I'm going to tell you how I got my residency in Colombia and why I got my residency in Colombia. This is more of a experiential video. I'm going to tell you what happened, what I did, my experience. I'm also offering consulting, like a 1-hour call. I have over 8 years experience here in Colombia with setting up businesses, with getting my visas, getting my residency. So if you're interested in setting up a call, let me know and we can talk about that. This video I just wanted to make to help people. Also, I'm very excited. I got my residency in Colombia just recently. And so here's my story, and I'll tell you a little bit of the things that you can watch out for and just like a general overview. This is not like a detailed video step by step, but this is kind of like an overall thing, what to look out for, are you available to get it? What was my experience? So, I'll tell you a little bit of my background, then I'll tell you how I set up my visas and my residency in Colombia. First, a little bit about me. Like I said, my name is Rob Lafond. I am an audiovisual producer. I was most recently, before I came to Colombia, working in Hollywood as a producer. I worked in radio, TV, film, music. And so I'm also available to do photo shoots and podcasts and stuff like that, production work. I do reels and work with brands. So if you need any of that, please let me know. I grew up in Worcester, Massachusetts, and I was working at recording artists with a recording business. I did that ever since I was young, building recording studios. I went out to Hollywood to follow my dreams in the music business. Ended up working for an NPR radio station in Santa Monica, California. Produced their music content, their audiovisual content, streaming online, all the big artists that came through LA came to the radio station, and I worked on those sessions and big studios around LA. And for the radio station, I also worked on movies, like I said, photography, lots of different stuff, audiovisual content. So that's my specialty. After a lot of years in LA, it was 11 years in Los Angeles, I got a little bit burnt out, and I went searching for what I wanted to do. And I had a friend who was from Bogota, and I came out to Colombia to do a workshop on the coast. So anyways, it's been 8 years since I've been in Colombia, and it was May 6th of 2017 when I first came here. And that year I decided to move here. It was May 6th I came here. I was here for a couple months. I went back to Los Angeles, and in August of 2017 I officially moved here, and then I figured it out about how I was gonna stay here. So originally when I came here, it was a little bit different than it is now. Like there's a lot more, I think, there's more foreigners. It's like the culture has changed a little bit. And so I started originally with my t-shirt brand. That's how I was able to stay here. I started a t-shirt brand and this Medellín brand, and that was how I was able to stay here. I got a visa through my company. I started a SaaS, and I had an accountant set it up fairly easily. And then I went through the visa process. I got an agency. Like I said, I can do a call. I do 1-hour Zoom calls with people. If you need just experience, or if you want to know stuff about Medellín, or about setting up a visa, or experience with setting up a business here, or how I feel about that, I'm available for those types of calls. I started my brand, and it really started as something organic. I just started making t-shirts, and it started very small, just selling at my friend's cafe. But I got the business legal, and I got my visa through that. Now there's a lot of regulations. You have to have a certain amount of money. You have to bring a certain amount of money in. The regulations have changed over the years. And so I set up my SaaS, and I was able to get my visa through my SaaS for my t-shirt company. And like I said, it started small, and then it grew bigger, and I had more employees, and I had more stores. And so I got my first visa in 2018 for 3 years. So I've had 3 visas in Colombia. I had a visa for 3 years, and then when I renewed it, I got it for 1 year, and then I renewed it again. I got it for another 3 years. So it's 7 years in total that I had visas in Colombia before I got my residency. Now the requirement for residency is that you have 5 years of consecutive visa. Let me tell you something, the laws have changed a little bit on certain little things, so you have to be very mindful of that. One thing is, like, I got one of my visas during the pandemic, and like everything was a little bit slower. And I had to get a Salvo Conduct, which means like your visa is in process, but you're still legal. And that means like you're in the process of getting a visa, but you haven't got your answer yet. So it's a document that says basically you're legal while you're waiting for the response. Now they changed a lot at some point, and if you got a Salvo Conduct, that actually counts as like a lapse in your time. You have to have 5 years consecutive time with a visa. Now, sometimes like the regulations here are like, they could be one way or they could be another. So I was actually able to get my residency even though I had that lapse. So it could go either way. The agency told me of people who had that lapse with the Salvo Conduct and didn't get their visa, and other people who did. So it's kind of like, you're better off just, getting your visas done on time. The trick is you have to kind of wait until your visa is up, till the right amount of time, and then apply for it. I really recommend having 3 months of time. Now, I did my last one. I've done it so many times. I did it with I was setting up about 3 months. Probably I really started about a little over 2 months, getting everything ready. Not enough time. You need 3 months of like setting up your documents. And one thing that I would really recommend, if you're thinking about getting a visa, also like even before 3 months, I would make sure all your documents are like ready. So make sure your passport, like if you're from the United States or Europe, that your passport has a lot more than 6 months left on it. Like all these things you have to check and make sure all your documents are ready. Any documents that you're going to need ahead of time, like have those all ready and prepared. Because I had to renew my passport because it had less than 6 months on it. I had other things I had to do. Now from people from the United States, they're requiring an FBI background check. And I would recommend doing that way ahead of time because you have to get that. It's got to be sent places, back and forth, and then it has to be translated. And so, that's another thing I would just say, get these things. There's a few things, mainly your paperwork in order and like the FBI background check. And those things are like, there's a few other things I can tell you on a consulting call to make sure you have all that stuff in order before you can start, because there's certain things that take longer than others. And sometimes the agencies, they don't tell you all the details, like, hey, I would start on this first, like get all this stuff ready and then the other part's easy or whatever. So you have to kind of know what to do ahead of time. So now when you're starting a business here, to get a visa, I have a visa tipo M. That's an Inversion Visa. It says that I started and invested a certain amount in Colombia. I know now they're like really requiring like to show exactly how you move the money, how that's set up, you have the documents. And so they're a lot more strict about these things. And so basically I had my visa for 3 years, 1 year, another 3 years. And then they told me that I could not get my residency because I had that lapse. So I was like, okay. And then so I just waited towards the end of my visa, which was ending in May of 2025, just recently. And I was like, I'll just apply for another visa, and then I have to get my 5 years again because I lost my time. So I had like 4 years. I needed another visa to get the full 5 because of the lapse. And then at the final moment, my lawyer was like, let's just go for the residency and see if they give it to you. And then if not, we'll apply for your visa. And so I actually ended up applying for my residency, and they gave me the residency. Now, one thing I'll say is, a lot of the stuff with these visas and residency, it's a lot of tied to like, if you have enough time on the health insurance. Some people say that you have to have like, if you only have 1 year of health insurance, sometimes they only give you a 1 year visa, or if you have all your prepaid stuff, they give you more of a visa. I'm not sure about that. I'm on just the regular health system because I have a business here. What I do know, it is tied. You have to have all your health insurance correct. You have to have, I have a business, I pay my employees' health insurance. So one thing that I had going for me is I had all of the paperwork, I had all of my bank statements showing that I'm making money in Colombia and that it's an ongoing business. The statements were moving. I have a gallery called Gallery of the Fund. You can look it up on Instagram. I'll have the links below. And it's a great place to come and meet people and actually learn a lot about Colombia and just meet people from different countries and meet locals as well. It's a really great environment, lots of different events. So I had all the paperwork going for me, and my paperwork was all in order. I had done a visa 3 times, and this is the 4th time applying, and I got the residency. Now the residency is actually, it's still a visa. So it's like right now I have a residency, but it's a visa tipo R, visa tipo R, residency visa. On this type of visa that I got, they only check in every 5 years. So I believe what my lawyer told me is that I just need to have my bank statements and my health insurance and stuff like that, and I'm good to go as far as the residential visa. All the other thing that I'll talk to you about is that, there's certain types of visas that go towards having residency and that don't go towards residency. So if you have a digital Nomad visa, that gives you a stay in Colombia as a visa, but it doesn't accumulate time towards residency. I know what accumulates towards residency is having like an investor visa. So that could be in a property or in a business. And then 5 years consecutive is when you can get your residency with that. I think there's some other ones. If people have questions or people want to have consulting, I can go over the details or find out the details or get a lawyer for you. I have lawyers, accountants, a lot of different connections here in Medellín as I've been here for 8 years. I had to change the capital of my business. I had to go down to the Chamber of Commerce. I had to get like these fingerprints made for the FBI background check, and it's like old school. I felt like I was in some like crime movie. He did like this old school like fingerprint thing. I'll show it in the video. And it was just an interesting experience. And I have to say, like, people are very nice, and things were stressful because I had to do things. And like sometimes like in Colombia, like when I changed the thing with my business, like there was like a simple mistake, and it was like gonna set me back a lot of time. But then I ended up figuring it out. But those are the things, like, you have to have a lot of patience, and people are super nice to help you out, but you gotta realize that sometimes, like, you know, you're in a foreign country and you're trying to get your residency or trying to get a visa, you might have to do things a couple times before it works, you know? And so that's why you need to allow the extra time, because so if something happens and it gets delayed, then you have the extra time. Like I said, the also trick is if you're getting a visa, you don't wanna wait, you don't wanna do it two at a time. Oh, let me just do it 6 months ahead of time. It doesn't work, because then if you get your next visa too much ahead of time, it won't go towards residency. So say if you have a residency for, get a visa for 3 years and another visa for 2 years, that would give you a residency. But say if I had my visa for 3 years, but I applied too early and I didn't really use the full 3 years, then my accumulated time would only be, you know, 4.5 years, and I wouldn't work toward residency. I'd still need to apply for another visa to get that accumulated time. So it's kind of a little bit of a trick, like depending on how your years work out, that you need to get that accumulated time. So it's a little trick with the time, but I would say 3 to 4 months, get started on it, and you know, go through the process. If there's any way I can help, please let me know. I love Medellín, I love Colombia. I've been here for 8 years. I know a lot about the dating culture. I know about just the general culture, the different neighborhoods. I'm doing a documentary called Legends of Medellín. I know about the comunas, the barrios of Colombia. I know a lot about the history. It's not all about Pablo Escobar. There's a lot of other history here that's amazing. And there's a lot of places to visit. My channel has like a lot of pueblos, towns I like to go visit. There's a lot of places around Colombia I'm still discovering. 8 years, and I go on moto trips. I fly to different parts of the country. There's still like a lot of things that I'm learning. And so I like to share that with people because I've had an amazing experience. Like, Colombia has given me so much, and I want to give that back to other people. I want to give it back to mostly the people who really want to be here. If you want to come here and kind of screw off and just take advantage, you know, I'm not really down with that. But if you want to come and bring something to society, create a business, or like, you know, help people, I think, you know, that's a good thing, and I support that. So I want to support and help people, give information to people who are really genuinely interested in Colombia and want the real information. It's not just like this quick thing. They actually want to be involved in the culture. They want to learn Spanish. They want to like be a part of what is the good part of Colombia. So that's what I want to help out people. And like I said, I set up consulting, whatever I can do to help people on their journey. Or if you have questions, please let me know. And I'm just really happy to be here. I'm really excited to get my residency. Like I said, this isn't exactly like a how-to, like exactly, but this is a video about my experience. And I know that this can help some people. And if you have other questions, you can reach out to me, and I'm here to help. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you soon from the city of Eternal Spring. Ciao for now. My name is Rob LaFond, an audiovisual producer based out of Medellín, Colombia. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, leave a comment, and stay tuned for more epic adventures. See you in the next one.